What is going on? And welcome to Clean Hits. I don't know if you guys noticed, but we have another special guest here. I just tried to do my best SLC Puck impression. We got the man himself, Austin, from SLC Puck. I think he's our favorite Utah hockey podcast going right now.
I'm blushing.
We're going to butter you up.
But the checks in the mail, guys. Thanks for reading the intro exactly as I wrote it. Thank you.
Not a problem. But we thought it'd be fun to get to know you a little bit better. We'll do some cross podcasts, chit chat, whatever you want.
I think they call it in the fashion world. Yeah.
The clean puck.
Yeah.
The clean puck. There we go. Yeah. Ooh, that's a good one.
Clean punky pucks.
That's it.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like once you got rolling with your show, it was like one of those things that I mean, one, you probably snatched up the best name you can get.
Yeah, I scored big.
And two, it's just been like the attitude of it all. And that's something that there's a lot of podcasts out there. Obviously, it's a gigantic multi-country sport, but hockey doesn't always have the most personality either, as far as the four major sports out there. So I feel like that's one thing that you just kind of came out and brought immediately. But
well, what's great about like podcasting these days is like literally anyone can do it. You don't need to be like have any realm of expertise. You don't need to like really even know what you're talking about at a certain point, right? You can just go to Best Buy and get like a microphone for like $50, and then boom, you can call yourself a podcaster. And I think it is. I think it is kind of funny to see like people like want to do that. And I if you want to get me to get into like my whole like backstory, I'm happy to do that. But I grew up like really wanting to be like a professional radio guy, and so I have all this like dorky like high end equipment here to work on. But the thought occurred to me like I'm not a professional. I happen to have this cool name I stumbled on. I just refuse to do it seriously. And thank God for people like you who that's why I love your guys' show, because the people who don't take it seriously need the balance of people who do take it seriously. And I think that's what you're referring to when you refer to like the attitude of SLC Puck. So
no,
Steve, thank you.
Yeah, it's like definitely like a yin and yang.
Yeah. You're it's very accessible, which I think is needed. Hockey, I think, what Brad was saying, it can lack a little bit of personality, but it can also be like super gatekeepy, right?
Yeah.
And, we definitely want to try to avoid that, especially with the weird, awkward situation of this being a relocation on top of it.
Well, what's funny is like, again, so many people like that I've noticed around here, like, the Jazz have always been like our big sports, entity here. And so a lot of people like to talk about the Jazz as if they're basketball experts. But I get the feeling not very many of them actually are. And, nobody, it doesn't matter. Right. But we have this thing that's like kind of new. And I think everybody's kind of talking out of their butt a little bit when we're talking about it here in the media scene. And so my thought is just kind of like, let's just embrace that. Like, let's roll with it. And, we're going to learn about the team together. And I do have a hockey background, so I can speak somewhat authoritatively about it. And I think that gives the show like a little bit of credibility, but I don't want to have too much credibility. It really I want like the show I'm doing to be like to be approachable. So yeah, I think I'm glad you guys have a good read on it.
Yeah, and you just mentioned your hockey background, and obviously I listened to your podcast, so I've heard you reference your youth hockey career and
my illustrious youth hockey career. Yeah.
Hey, look, man, like I said,
I was the MVP of the Davis County JV All-Star game, mind you, 15 years ago.
You know what, Austin? Most of us live our whole life without ever making an all-star game of some kind. And,
well, it helped that my dad organized the game, and I think it would have been hard to keep me out. My dad made all the arrangements.
Yeah, but the MVP happens on the ice, buddy.
It was a game of a lifetime for sure.
That's awesome. So, how did you get involved in it, and how far did you make it? To what age did you play?
Yeah, the answer to the second question is pretty easy to state. Not far at all. Yeah, but I've talked about this on my episode I did on Mother's Day featuring my mom. I got into it just watching the Mighty Ducks movies as a little boy. And, there was a rink not too far from where we were living in Davis County, Utah. And, my mom would take me to the rink so she could skate while, my dad was, at work or whatever. And, I thought I was Charlie Conway. Like, I remember it feels like there was this like scene in the Mighty Ducks where like Charlie has like a flannel shirt wrapped around his waist.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Flannel like billowing behind him. And I insisted on, making my flannel shirt billow behind me just because I thought it was cool. I lived my whole life pretending I'm in a movie, but, just kind of did that. And then, I think like, a guy who was kind of trying to start up a hockey thing at that rink noticed me and my mom there like every night, and just kind of got to talking, and that turned into like a learn to skate hockey thing. And then my dad was like really involved with pretty much everything I did my whole life, and he helped organize like a youth hockey house league at that rink, and from there just kept playing basically through high school, and just did a little bit of like I would say I probably could have made like a junior, like a A-level team. Probably couldn't have been a double A guy, but we were like a very, very, very good house team, and did a little bit of travel at like the midget minor level.
Yeah.
But we had a really good high school team too, guys that just all played together from basically when we were 8 through 18. And it was just was a huge part of our lives growing up. And just was, I was known as like the hockey nerd in elementary school. I was like the kid who loved hockey. And there weren't very many people like that at my school, so it kind of made me unique and stand out a bit.
Same. Yeah, same for me, man. We've got that in common. I was definitely the hockey nerd, and the Mighty Ducks movies played no small part in that for me too.
Yeah,
and it just kind of happened to cooncide when the Coyotes moved to town, right? So
timing's everything. Yeah,
a little bit of hockey fever sweeping the nation with those movies, and the NBA was in serious decline in popularity at that time, and
especially I would think there too. Yeah,
and it definitely swept me up. And it was like it wasn't a name vote, but there's a lot of like naming speculation.
And I'll tell you this: the name vote is a sham. That's the one thing I've been preaching consistently on my show. It's a ploy. But hey, we love the illusion of choice. We love thinking we're having fun. Yeah,
we can take that a whole other direction.
Right. There's been some clear breadcrumbs or cookie crumbs of why.
And just while we're talking about this, I know you guys have like other questions, but like while we're talking about this, that's not a slight to Ryan Smith at all. You can't trust these people to name the team. No. This is like, because this is like going to be a big thing. It's going to be here for decades and decades. We've proven through our political process that we can't choose wisely at all. And we've consistently shown that as a society. We're not going to be trusted to name a hockey team. Okay, that's just the way it is.
Bodie McBoatface.
Literally that would happen. Yeah, you can't have that. But if it's marketing to have a name vote, gets people excited, that's cool. I'm cool with that.
We've got even a more cynical conspiracy theory if you want to hear it. You have to submit your email address to get it. To vote. So there you go.
There is some data collection for sure. Yeah. I'm sure of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You played through high school, house league to high school league track. Yeah. That's awesome. Didn't have to have your parents break the absolute bank on all that club hockey stuff. They absolutely refused to. And that's why I never became the great player that I could. I never reached my potential because my parents were so damn cheap. But we would play against like the kids who played at like the club level, the real like double A level, and we would just get hammered. And like the difference in quality of play is so different. But like for the level we were at, we were really excellent, and we still had a lot of fun too. And we were on the ice pretty consistently, at least like three or 4 days a week. That's a lot,
if not more. Yeah,
that's great. Yeah. Before it's times have changed, right? It's hard to get that ice time now, and those club teams cost an absolute fortune. I coach a couple of house league teams myself. I've got a
Nice.
A 6-year-old and a 9-year-old. So I coach a mite and a squirt team house
That's
league.
fun.
I love house league, man.
I romanticize myself like being like coaching my kids in hockey when I was like in high school, because when you're in high school, you have this idea of like what your life's going to be like in the future.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to marry a pretty girl and we're going to have lots of kids and I'm going to be the cool hockey coach dad. And now I'm just like a single weirdo who podcasts in a basement. So that didn't pan out. But, so what I'm saying is I'm jealous of you.
Well, I appreciate it, but I'll tell you this, Austin, you've got plenty of time, my friend. And now you're going to grow into a local celebrity. And they're going to be lining up for you, buddy.
I can't wait. Oh, it's going to be everything I dreamed it would be.
You're going to be spending more time at the rink, and there you go. You're going to bump into the right lady right there. That's going to be the story, and I'll have called it here on Clean Hits. Yeah.
If that happens, you will be a groomsman. Okay, I will fly you up in the wedding party.
And do you spend much time at the rink? Are you a beer leaguer?
This is kind of like reignited my love.
I bet
throughout my 20s, I got a lot into a lot of other sports, just to like dive more into like my story, and it's going to be boring. So feel free to like flip this as much as you want.
This is what we want, man. Yeah.
So dad right here was a sports writer growing up. So, I really wanted to follow in his footsteps, be in sports media. So I did basically like every sports internship available here in Utah to like try to get like a way into working in the sports or sports media industry. So like I worked for like the Jazz for a couple years, helping on their radio broadcast. I like reported directly to the guy who does play-by-play. Wow. And I worked for the G League team. I was like the PR and social media intern. And then from there, I miraculously landed an internship with the Los Angeles Chargers. So I worked with them for a season.
Holy cow. Yeah.
I don't like to talk about all this on the show too much because it's long and I don't know.
Yeah,
there's a lot of questions that come with it, and I'm happy to answer. If you guys have questions, let me know. Then came home, worked for the Salt Lake Bees, and then, again, like every sports internship like ever was making no money, but I was just determined to find a way in. And then finally, my journey has taken me like a bunch of different places, working at like some media companies here in Utah. I ended up going to Orlando, Florida to work for the Amateur Athletic Union for a year. Came home, was an office assistant at an elementary school, at the end of COVID, because, there weren't any like, jobs that fit my particular skill set at the time. Yeah. And then landed at another media company, TV station. I was like the online reporter. So like for someone who says like that I'm just goofing off here doing like a media thing, like I do have like a lot of like media experience. So
and now it's honest, man. It's in the bloodlines, right? I think
it really is. Yeah,
accomplishments a little bit there. He wasn't just a sports writer; he was pretty decorated, from what I was reading about.
Yeah, 5-time sports writer of the year here in Utah. So, and he made me such a big part of his job when I was little. Like I was always going to Utah football practice with my dad. Urban Meyer used to tousle my hair you probably know who Urban Meyer is. Yeah, Urban Meyer tousled my hair like every day. Hey, Austin, good to see you. How's school going? That kind of thing. My dad would take me on the road with him to games. So like, I sat in the press box at UCLA a couple times as like a little kid. I was just like the little kid that was always tagging along with my dad. And it's kind of funny. Like if you go back and look at like media scrum pictures of like Urban Meyer talking with like the Utah media, you'll probably see a little kid like in the media scrum, and that's me. Yeah. If you get a chance to look at like old pictures of like Urban Meyer, again, talking to the media when he's at Utah, you'll see me as like a very ugly little boy standing there.
Well, and that's kind of what as I was watching more of your episodes, I kind of realized like the background that you have, which I've always loved, is not just like your collection of hockey memorabilia or it's like personal and significant and like each little piece of it kind of goes into your whole background and story. And the more we hear about it through your show, again, SLC Puck right here. If you're not watching his YouTube, his podcast and everything, you got to be doing that. But
like, subscribe.
It's been really neat to just kind of it's like putting all the puzzle pieces together and just kind of starting to understand a little bit of more about you too.
More mysterious,
I mean, I got the Coors Light sign lit up, and that's about it.
That's chill. That's way chill. Yeah. No, I maybe I kind of like give too much away about my life, but like, I guess it is kind of interesting, and it is sort of my hockey story is like my dad, my mom, my sister, and so we you can see this picture that's right up here is it's a picture of my dad and my sister scorekeeping one of our high school games, and so I don't know, just like little stuff like that, just I think it's just like I'm not only like telling like the story of like the hockey team here, but like I think I'm telling like the story of like a hockey family kind of at the same time, and I think that helps like build a connection.
Yeah. And so it seems like through all this too is you're like almost documenting hockey in Utah in kind of a roundabout way. And that's something I was kind of curious about too, is there's a lot of weird parallels between Arizona hockey and Utah hockey and sports in general. And we were kind of talking about this before we hit the record button here, but Phoenix is a huge basketball city. So, I mean, the Phoenix Suns being the oldest professional team in the area and definitely the most beloved. You guys have the Jazz, obviously.
And here's what's fun. Both teams have never won an NBA championship.
No. We got closer. Well, no. Yeah, you guys had some great teams.
We were in the finals twice. Yeah, against Michael Jordan, the Bulls. Yeah.
So the exact same amount. I'm not the biggest NBA fan, so sorry, Suns fans, if I've missed two, but we had the Bulls.
We don't want them. We don't want NBA fans here.
Get out of here. Take a hike.
But we were out
there. You go. There's that gatekeeping elitism we were talking about.
Yeah.
But we're also joking before of like, there's probably just as many other hockey team fans in Utah for like, let's say Boston or kind of the Rangers back east teams, or maybe where a lot of transplants are from, that there's arguably probably way less Arizona Coyote fans in the Utah area. And it was kind of the same thing when the team moved here from Winnipeg. Is they had to kind of build up this fan base, and it's something that we've all kind of encountered over the years. Of you go to a Blackhawks game and it's going to be 75% Chicago fans, and it's something you just kind of deal with. But it's been, me and Trent have talked about this for way too many years, and it's probably done wonders to our blood pressure. But the idea of this team moving has been obviously around for over a decade. And there's been some cities that got thrown out. Houston was obviously one of the big rumors for a while, and when the Utah rumors started coming out, in my mind it's like, I think if they have to move, that's one of the places I think I would be happy with, because it's smaller market, underdog story. It kind of keeps the whole character of the team going in a weird way. And I think there is kind of like this grassroots movement of hockey and youth hockey in Utah that kind of had to start out here as well when the team came here. And it seems like this is going to be a fandom that's built from the ground, and it's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, I would just add to that. I think the thing that I would explain this is how I would explain Utah to people who aren't from Utah. Okay.
Yeah.
I would say
that's like probably great for any of the old OG Coyotes guys that are still kind of following the team along too. So we all love to hear this.
Yeah.
I would say like Utah, we really want to grow up, and we want like to grow up like in a cultural way, in a way that's like interesting. Like, we know what like the stereotypes are about Utah, like Mormons, when I go like outside of like the state and I tell people that I'm from Utah, inevitably I get asked like half the time, like how many moms I have or how many wives I have. Right.
Yeah.
And so I think we want to like, we're all like really eager to like see like what the next chapter in like Utah's story is going to be. And it feels like when things that are big league, and there is like a movement to try to get a Major League Baseball team here as well.
Yeah.
But I think when we see things that are like big and like at the highest level, and having a team that competes at the highest level of hockey, it sort of adds a little, momentum to where we want to be. Like I joke all the time that like Salt Lake City wants to be Los Angeles so bad that it hurts. It's never going to happen, of course. And I wish we didn't have that mentality. I think way too many people here have that sort of dream. But I think, like it's exciting because it feels like we're finally moving up to like from AAA, status as a area to like getting a shot at the big league, so to speak.
So does it seem like there's just a ton of buzz right now about the team, or it definitely seems like there's been waves of it, and I've kind of noticed that it doesn't quite feel like the team has landed in Utah yet, and there's anytime there's an event, you see everybody coming out and the excitement rises again, and then kind of like levels off, especially right now in the dog days of summer. And
and my view
still just kind of like an underlying buzz. What was that?
I was just saying my view counts on my episodes reflect that as well. They've been horrendous the last couple weeks. So I would agree with that.
We're putting out like 2,000 word blogs all the time.
What are you doing, like, guys?
Yeah.
Come on,
yeah.
And we're like, nobody cares about this right now.
But I'm excited to see that bubble pop, and I think puck drop on day one. Obviously, it's going to happen, but I know it's still a huge Jazz city. I know it's a huge NCAA football town, and they're going to really benefit from the fact
that the Jazz are going to be bad this year. Like the Jazz are not expected to have a good team. But yeah, I mean, I do think that's true, and I think the bubble will definitely pop October 8th. When the Blackhawks are here for the home opener. I think you'll expect to see like every TV station here in the Salt Lake market on hand at the Delta Center in some way.
Yeah,
it'll be like a festival like atmosphere, and I'm sure they're going to find ways to be out in the community to some kind of activations. They'll be on billboards. They're going to make sure every single person in the Salt Lake Valley knows what's happening. At least that I would hope so.
They need to slide over a blank check across the desk to Post Malone to do the national anthem.
True, like you might see something big like that. That wouldn't surprise me at all.
Him and his guitar right out there at center ice for that national anthem. They got to make it happen.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I kind of am inclined to think they will.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be like the Osmonds, which is not going to have the same effect.
Yeah, the last I saw, Donny Osmond was signing autographs and taking pictures at the Centerville Walmart a few years ago. So that's like an apocalyptic fall from grace, to be at the Centerville Walmart. And let me tell you, the line is not long to see Donny.
I saw Pete Rose signing autographs in a casino of all places once when on a business trip.
Oh, jeez.
I'm like,
but that has more cachet than a Walmart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
It does.
That's true.
I didn't realize that Chicago was the home opener, and I got the odds pulled up right here. The puck line for Utah is plus 146. To win by 2.
Do they call money line puck line in hockey?
No. The money line is just winning. Puck line is the spread essentially. So they have to win by 2.
Oh, sorry, it's win by 2. Okay, got it. See, and this is an educational venture for me. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, and I have a whole degenerate gambling account, if you haven't noticed.
Which I enjoy quite a bit.
Yes. So I don't know.
And meanwhile, I don't know anything about gambling. And every time I ask, I have to ask Brad the same question every single time. I can't remember it ever. Complete rank amateur. I don't think I'll ever place a bet. I cannot figure it out.
Well, betting is illegal. Like sports betting is not legal here in Utah. But let me just
surprise.
There are ways around. I mean, we all know there are ways around that. Those websites that end with .ag. Those aren't hard to find.
Yeah,
it's my way around.
I think I got to dump a little bit of money on this puck line. I mean,
get in it.
Yeah, let's do it. It's already out, so I'm going to have to invest a little bit. Invest in my future.
That is the most diabolical way ever to refer to a gambling, situation. Yeah.
Yes,
but I'm not going to discourage it. I think it's cool.
So the vibe is growing, right? And we've got opening night staring, we're staring down the barrel at it. Still feels like it's a million miles away. But how do you see yourself, Austin, getting involved in that? Are you going to be attending a lot of games? Do you have some tickets purchased? Are you going to be streaming them all? Like, what do you think it's going to look like for you when the season is finally underway? Like, how's that going to look?
It might be like kind of a medley, let's say, a medley of like different kind of coverage options. I mean, I am, and I'll just tell you guys this, like I am like still like a little bit involved in like the media scene. I don't know, I don't think I've said this on my show, but like Hockey News reached out to me and asked me to write the season preview for the Utah Hockey Club. So I think I'm somewhat still in the loop on that, and they said they might have like future like little feature writing assignments for me and all that. So I've been in contact with the Utah Hockey Club's PR, just say, hey, this is who I am, just so you're aware of me. I haven't gathered the courage yet to ask for like credentials, but maybe we'll see how that goes. But I mean, I want to attend games, but I want to keep building on like the little community that like seems to be rallying around me and my dumb little podcast. So however that works, I kind of like have this like fantasy of like doing like watch parties at like a bar, or like, having like a second screen option where, I'll be like going live on Facebook while watching the game and giving my commentary, in the hopes that people, mute their own much better play-by-play commentary and listen to my incessant, meaningless observations. That's the dream, at least. But it's kind of something I'm kicking around some ideas. I think you might see like a combination of a few different things.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you currently have a NHL team that you're invested in or following, or do you just kind of follow the league in general, or
just kind of been following the league in general? Like I think it's fun to see. I've kind of attached myself to like players more than anything over the years. And I talk about this on my show, like, growing up, my dude was like Paul Kariya.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Paul Kariya, so therefore the Ducks were the team that I liked. I find myself like, liking guys like Cale Makar. So I like to see, the Avalanche play well. I'm a big Jack Eichel guy as well. So I like to see the Golden Knights, like the teams that like, are somewhat close to us, and who I imagine will be like natural rivals with the Utah Yeti. Like the Golden Knights, like the Avalanche are teams that I do like to keep an eye on.
Here first.
And
you better learn to hate those guys, Austin. You're not endearing yourself to the Coyotes fans here with your Ducks, Knights, and Avs talk. Like,
I'm sorry.
Let me do the one joke that every internet troll has always done and say all four of us are angry. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well. Well, I mean, that's kind of the fun of like putting something out like publicly, you kind of open yourself up to a little bit of trash talking, and like I said, that is part of the fun.
Absolutely. Hey, so you've followed the league a little bit from a distance, different players and things like that, but since the time you hung up the skates, to the time you heard like the announcement that the team was coming back. I know that you were focused on a lot of different sports in that time. Was hockey in your life at all in that interim period, or just fandom from afar?
Just fandom from afar. I think a lot of that's, one, not having a team here. Two, Korea's career kind of ending. I remember when he signed with the Avalanche, after the Ducks had their run at the Stanley Cup Finals. Like, I was really excited about that. And then he was never really the same, after his Ducks years. It was always kind of like, I was like interested in seeing like how he played with like the Predators and then the Blues and all that. But, I always, I'm kind of like a sappy, sentimental guy. So, I'd always, whenever the deciding game of the Stanley Cup Finals was on, it was fun to watch that and watch them take the cup and do a lap around the rink. But no, other than that, just being so occupied with working in basketball and football and baseball, it's kind of where my focus has been primarily.
Do you think hockey can take the top local sports spot from the Jazz?
I think it, honestly, here's how I think about it. I truly think that it could. It kind of could for this next generation. Like my generation, probably not. The generation before, probably not. But I think the next generation is going to really like love the Utah Yeti in a big way. And I'm just going to call them the Utah Yeti. I'm not going to pretend like that's not going to be their name. Yeah, they're going to be the Utah Yeti. But and I think especially like as more these rinks at the practice facility get built, and you see more kids get interested in playing, and that ice time becoming available. I think the amount of players and the quality of players in the youth hockey scene is really going to explode. And the other thing is I think the team has a chance to be more successful than the Jazz have ever been.
Yeah.
And I really do think that. And, from everything I've gathered, just, when we talked about this before we hit record, I did not follow the Coyotes closely last year or the years before, but, learning more about the team and seeing how they stack up, it's not hard to imagine that this team could be very decent in a few years. And, you get to playoff time and anything could happen. And I don't think it's impossible to imagine a future where, they have a Stanley Cup parade down State Street in downtown Salt Lake City. And I think at that point it's kind of checkmate where, we're a hockey team, we're a hockey town forever. And especially, if they can find that success quickly in a way that the Jazz never really have been able to, I think for sure that next generation will be all hockey and a little Jazz.
I think there's a lot of wisdom in what you said there, Austin. Like, the winning is very important because Arizona was always ranked in the top 5 or 10, usually top 5 in growth of youth hockey year over year for 20 years. We got rinks all over the valley here. One in my backyard.
We did a tournament down there in Phoenix too when I was little. It's huge.
It's huge. People love hockey here, but the team could never get out of their own way. So even today, I've coached a dozen youth teams at this point. And you go around the locker room and every one of these kids loves hockey and they love the NHL and they all have a favorite team, and almost none of them is at the Coyotes, right?
It's
what I mean?
draining when your team sucks, when your hometown team is bad. It's hard to get excited. Like the Jazz were bad last year and pretty bad the year before. And I'm just like, it gets you so disinterested in the sport and, winning. I think you see that like in Vegas. I would imagine the hockey scene in there is growing at an insane rate. And I would imagine it's because that team has been unbelievably successful and gets people excited and talking about it. And they're on the news every night. And, that helps.
And honestly, I think the climate is perfect for it. People always joke, like those snobby, gatekeepy hockey fans I was talking about. I was like, hockey doesn't belong in the desert. Nobody out there knows anything about it. I'm like, are you nuts? Like, I could be a T-ball dad out here in the 115-degree heat, just melting, coaching baseball or soccer. Heaven forbid. But instead, I'm in the ice rink, man. I spend all my time in a rink in the air conditioning.
You have a lot of hot chocolate, at all times.
In the winter, and in the summer, it's like, hurry up, get your gear out of the trunk. Let's run into the rink
before it stinks up the car.
And just to stop melting. Like, let's get in there quickly before we're just a puddle in the asphalt.
It's gonna be fun to see. And I think you said the climate is good for hockey, but I also like the demographics here. I think work really well for hockey. And I think like basically every socioeconomic kind of situation here in Utah, you can find people who like hockey. There's like the really wealthy people who live in Park City who they have a great public rink there that I'm sure those people are extremely excited.
Yeah.
And if you go to the west side of Salt Lake where, it's a little bit more blue collar, I guess you could say, like those people are absolutely thrilled out of their minds to have hockey. And so you go north to south, east to west. And I think there's hockey fans to be found of all shapes and sizes here in Utah.
That's amazing. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why, as sad as it was for us to lose our team, which was really, really rough. As Brad mentioned earlier, we've been dealing with these rumors for years and years. And when it was Utah, finally, it was like, all right, like if we were going to pick one, this is it for us. Like, thankfully it's Utah and not some of the other markets. Yeah. Who were like not very friendly to Coyotes fans during those times. And I think it was like kind of a mercy that it kind of came out of nowhere like this and blindsided everyone, because it was like it didn't have time to really get nasty. You know what I
mean? Rip the Band-Aid off.
That's it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, but the Band-Aid had been on for 10 years.
That's right.
Take it off real quick, finally.
Exactly.
Going back to the climate, this has been something that we've all kind of talked about on the show, or asked ourselves at least. Is there going to be some sort of altitude advantage in SLC, kind of like what they have in Denver, or is it not quite that high up?
I mean, you hear people who talk about like the Jazz and sort of the home court advantage they have. That's always something that's talked about, is the altitude. So yeah, I think that'll definitely have an impact, especially like, early in the season, when guys maybe don't have their legs all the way underneath them.
Yeah.
I definitely think that'll have an impact.
More reason to slam that puck line against the Blackhawks at the home run.
Could be, yeah, totally. So yeah, I think that's definitely a part of the equation. And then just to build on that, the other thing that we like to say here in Utah is that we have the best home court advantage in the NBA. The Delta Center can be quite loud during Jazz games, and the way I think that's going to be kind of the big test of the renovation, is to kind of preserve that stuff that makes the Delta Center special. It is built exactly perfect for an NBA game and not for the NHL. And so an NBA game, the fans are literally like courtside. There is no negative empty space. They're right there. And, I think we're going to lose a little bit of that for sure in hockey. And I've been inside the arena and seen how it's going to be configured, and it is kind of weird. So yeah, I think when we talk about our home ice advantage, I think we'll lean on the elevation and maybe a little bit of the noise.
Yeah, those acoustics. I know that your hero and our hero too, Bill Armstrong. That guy loves to talk about what a loud building that
Gosh,
is.
I love him.
Yeah, it really made an impression on him, the sound. I even saw a video of him kind of walking Mikhail Sergachev around, and he's like telling him, like, bro, look, the ceiling, it makes it loud.
It's made out of metal, and the sound bounces right down. Also, I'll tell you this, Kanye West was in town to do like a little listening party last week. It sounded phenomenal. It got me right in the sternum. It sounded great. No, if it's anything like a Kanye West show, we'll be in business.
So are you a full Bill Armstrong convert now? Are you part of the cult officially?
Oh, I don't know how you couldn't be. Like the guy's unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's so charming. For me, like it was funny, and I'll just rant about Bill for a minute. It was just like, it was so cool to I think here in Utah, we're used to like NBA guys talking to the media and like cliches and like giving, answers that they I'll say, like, Donovan Mitchell was kind of a media genius when he was here at the Jazz, because he knew exactly what people wanted to hear. He was just sort of, protecting his brand. He was making himself very marketable, all that. And I get the feeling Bill Armstrong just kind of shoots from the hip and is just like, this is what's going on. I'll be honest with you guys. I got no reason to conceal anything, and I think that's like pretty refreshing.
Yeah.
But the other thing was just to see that, like, he invited like members of the media into his house to like, wear a goofy sweater. Like, Danny Ainge, who's the general manager for the Jazz, would never do that in a zillion years. That would never, ever happen. So to imagine like someone like at that level doing that with like members of the media and now being a part of the community it gets me going. It gets me pretty excited.
Yeah. And he, I've been lucky enough to meet him and chat with him a few times. And he's so engaging and personable, so giving with his time and just a really nice guy. Like, I'm sitting there, a huge hockey nerd, trying to play it cool. I don't want to ask him about the draft or be annoying in any way. And as a result, my restraint allowed him to talk to, my wife, and then him and his wife started talking to her. And
he probably really apprecited that, like I'm sure, like, because for him, like, talking about the draft is work, and like, you want to talk about work, when they're, out and about.
And they talked for, I don't know, 20 minutes about, Hershey, Pennsylvania, where she spent some time, and he did too. And he's talking all about how much he loves small towns, and that's the best thing about the minor league is the smaller markets, and how much he appreciates that and everything. And I think he's going to fit like a glove in Utah, just based on that conversation alone. And he's such an engaging guy, right? Like I was at this really great event they do for children's cancer research here, and it was all the players and fans like together in a room, with like drinks and games and things, and it was really telling. You could see, there's players kind of hanging out around the room and fans kind of interspersed with them, but in the center of the room, like holding court with just a huge crowd of people around him, just hanging on his every word, and he's just doing a whole routine, was Bill Armstrong. It's like there's all these multi-million athletes everywhere. Clayton Keller's over here playing, beer pong with water with Nick Schmaltz, nobody around, but it's Bill Armstrong that's got the whole room wrapped around his little finger. Yeah,
he's gonna be a superstar here. Yeah, I'm all in. I'm buying stock right now.
Yeah. Awesome. Gotta ask.
You said you're gonna ask some hardball questions, by the way. I haven't heard any yet.
Oh, we're liars. We lie here, Austin.
Yeah. Well, hey,
here's a lob of one then. Have you already figured out the first jersey you're going to get?
It's got to be Keller. I mean, 9. I mean, that. Okay. What else? What's funny is I do have the Clayton Keller jersey T-shirt, which I purchased the other day at the store. So, yeah, I don't know if I'll get the Utah Hockey Club jersey. I am excited to see
wait for the Yeti one.
Yeah, I'm gonna save up. I'm gonna be frugal. I'm gonna look ahead.
I'm thinking that way with my kids too. Like, the Coyotes left and they're like super bummed, right? They're 6 and 9, so they're just kind of starting to get into actually watching it. They love to play and have loved to play, but kids don't have attention spans. They don't like to watch a whole lot of it.
Just neither do 32-year-olds.
But then they moved to Utah and they're like, man, and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of a bummer. And then some of the preliminary names came out, and I asked them, what do you like? Immediately Yeti, and they're like, if it's Yeti, we're all in, bro. Like, Yeti all day, please be Yeti. And it's the same thing, I poll my little mites and squirts players all the time, like, hey, Utah's got a team now. They're thinking about naming them, the Mammoth or the Outlaws or the Blizzard or the Yeti. Unanimously, the kids are like, what, Yeti? Did you say Yeti? This is intriguing. The kids love it, man. So I think
that kind of plays into like the theory that I have on the name is I really think they're going to brand this team with like this younger generation in mind, right? Like the kids who like haven't like fully latched on to being Jazz or nothing diehard fans here. I really think they're going to sort of build the story and the look of this team with like people like your kids in mind for sure. And when you hear that, Yeti makes the most sense for sure.
And that's why I'm going to wait to buy some gear when it's branded Yeti. I'll probably get a little for myself, but I don't think I'll be doling out the shekels for Utah HC gear for the kids.
Hey, we all got bills to pay. We got to dole stuff. Yeah. Gotta get. I had to buy tires like a few months ago.
Like the worst. That's one of the worst things that you have to buy.
It's insane.
The government should pay for tires, if you ask me. So.
It's nuts. Everything's expensive, and that's why you got to choose your shirtsy wisely. And I think waiting on the official one was a wise move. I think Keller's a good bet. I think I think Brad and I are kind of maybe on Team Keller. Like if I was or Team Cooley, I should say.
Yeah,
of all the available shirtsies, I think
playing the long game. Cooley. Yeah, he'll be here for a while.
Yeah.
Because that's the fear, right? I mean, I remember the Jazz got a new look, probably, and the Jazz changed looks like every couple of years, it seems. But they got like they brought back the Note logo in a big way, like probably 15 years ago, and it was so cool. I was so excited to get it, so I ran to the store. I bought a Darren Williams jersey. Was so psyched. I wore it like basically every week, and he was traded by January of that year. So it's not as cool to wear like a traded player jersey. So that was like a very bummer of a purchase. Yeah. So you got to think strategically for sure.
Exactly. We had it easy as Coyotes fans because you always just get Dome, whether he's retired, playing, whatever. He's a legend. Everybody loves him all the way down to their bone. We all love
John Stockton jerseys still go crazy here. The Karl Malone jerseys still go off.
I bet.
Yeah.
That's the safe play. That's the safe play for sure. Yeah, you mentioned that they do tinker a lot with those Jazz uniforms and the colors and everything like that.
And that's why they have to get this Yeti name like right, because the Jazz have been stuck with like a stupid ass name for like 50 years.
100%.
It's been way like they can't do anything about it now. It's been way too. They've invested way too much in it.
It just doesn't work.
And it's like it's so like, and they're probably doing the best they can, like adding the character of like our state into it a little bit. Like they can't really do much more than what they have. So that's why I really think they want to nail this name and this look, which supports my theory that they're not leaving it up to the people here.
Yeah.
They have the professionals picking it up.
But I do hope they don't tinker so much with the colors. Like, man, I don't want them to add another color. I'm so happy with the powder blue, the black, and the white, and I just want them to leave it alone. Just keep those colors.
I hear what you're saying, but I would be shocked if purple's not involved somehow.
I think purple will get involved somehow, maybe with trim or something, or as an alt.
Alt is fine. Jersey, maybe. Alt is fine.
I just knowing who Ryan Smith is and like what gets him excited, I'm sure somebody told him like, well, you know how like the Pittsburgh Steelers, you know, and the Pirates and everybody, they kind of share a look. We could have like a color scheme that's Utah's and they're all your teams. And I just imagine Ryan being like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, for sure.
No,
maybe on the away too, having a little purple piping would be cool. I think the home has to be the black with the ice blue.
Mm-hmm.
Up against this,
it does look great though. Yeah,
purple out the window. No, thank you. I liked it on the Coyotes when they did those purple reverse retros.
Those were cool.
I did too.
That is kind of one of the great tragedies of losing the Coyotes. Is know, for those of us who are into that kind of thing, you know, they had a really solid look.
They just brought it back too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But you know what? I don't know who owns that intellectual property now that Morello
no one. We should buy it. Yeah, we should just grab it.
Yeah. Or at the very least, you know, maybe the NHL owns it. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Maybe an AHL team will pick it up. Who knows?
All legalese at this point.
Yeah.
Well,
sorry. Go ahead, Brad.
No, I was going to see if you guys wanted to jump into the little game we have planned, or if you got some more of our hard hitting questions to dish out.
I've got one really hard hitting one, right? Like Austin, I've been watching SLC Puck for a while now, and I know that the role the Mighty Ducks is played, and I know that you never miss an opportunity to kind of go off on a rant when it comes to hockey flicks.
What?
So I wanted to ask you, man, as a huge hockey film aficionado. What outside of the Ducks is or the Mighty Ducks is your, like, what's your favorite serious movie or your favorite funny movie? What are some categorically like some of the other hockey movies that are near and dear?
I mean, it's funny you ask like serious movies, because the one that came to mind is not a serious movie at all, and it's MVP, most valuable primate.
Yeah,
and I don't know what it is. There's just something very charming about that. But here's what I like about it. It's a movie with an insane premise that all the actors like play straight. It's you know what I mean? Like there's not a lot of the premise is the joke. There's not a lot of jokes in the movie, but it's they take it seriously. It's like this monkey figured out how to play hockey. I guess we're just gonna go with it. It's the brilliance of the Air Bud movies too, and all that. Yeah. I kind of have a hankering to sit down and watch MVP, Most Valuable Primate.
Dang. I showed it to my kids not long ago. I think it was during this summer vacation, and it was so funny. I was expecting, because I didn't really remember it that well, and I was expecting like crude humor and fart jokes and the boys to be laughing the whole time.
In the movie.
But no, it's like it's pretty serious, and the kids were like very invested in what was happening with this monkey and would the team win and all these subplots. You know what I mean? And I'm like, this is not the experience I expected on pizza and movie night. You know, when I threw on the monkey.
Beautiful script that just happens to feature a monkey playing hockey.
It's true. It's like they wrote the movie first and then they threw a monkey in it. Yeah.
We may need to do a watch party for that. And then we got still like a month and a half.
Yeah.
Hockey.
That's a good idea.
Good. It's just really, and they did a sequel, you know, where he plays for the Seattle Simians. He gets, you know, traded.
This I was unaware of.
And then that movie is like weirdly serious too, but it happens to feature a monkey that plays hockey and skateboard.
That's awesome. Now, listen. You can't say the monkey again. All right.
Or chimpanzee.
The chimpanzee.
Is that the wrong kingdom, phylum, species?
It's a different species.
Not a monkey. I was getting it wrong the whole time. My apologies to the Seattle Simians and all of their rabbit fans.
I know I have a lot of zoologists who, fact check me, from time to time. So to them, I say sorry. Yeah.
But you can't say the ape this time. You can't say the chimp. This is you're not allowed to repeat that. But if you were casting a hockey movie about your life, who are you casting in the lead role? Which actor is going to play SLC Puck himself, Austin Facer?
I mean, it feels like Orlando Bloom would be like a funny choice. Was he? Am I remembering that the Pirates of the Caribbean guy? Is that Orlando Bloom?
That's him. That's it.
Yeah, I want him to have the same look that he had in Pirates of the Caribbean, like that same like real tight goatee. Like I want like anything you can do to like exaggerate like these features would be amazing. So I guess
a very serious actor too.
That's a really good question. You kind of caught me off guard there. That was the first name that popped into my head. When I'm like Chris Pratt would probably be a good one too for me. I would think. Yeah. Wait, are we talking like Austin now or young Austin?
Well, I guess
either way you want to take it.
Yeah.
Either way you want to take it. Yeah, this is a biopic, man. This is the Rags to Riches story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think let's go with Chris Pratt. I think Chris Pratt is probably the best fit.
There you go.
And then maybe like Michael Caine as you get older.
Yeah. Or Nicolas Cage when I get older would actually be the choice.
There you go. Yeah. I think
because here's a big reason why I have this beard, guys, and this is like an exclusive to Clean Hits. I don't know what's under this beard because I've had it for like 10 years. But I used to get teased like when I was an LDS missionary, when I like was clean shaven, that I looked kind of like a younger Nicolas Cage, and I got teased about that a lot, and so it's a big reason why I have the beard. And so I'm just terrified if it goes away, I'll be Nicolas Cage. And so maybe he would be a good fit.
Isn't he universally seen as a pretty good looking guy though? Like, is this a bad thing?
Dude, give it up. Yeah, he is. He's sexy. He's an Academy Award winner too, by the way. Everybody loves to rag on Nicolas Cage.
This is a great sales pitch. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad we're on the same page.
There we go. What do you, Brad? So you that's what I had as far as the hard hitting ones was. I just wanted to make sure we talk about MVP.
Yeah, you had to get one like inane rant out of me. Not that you haven't gotten several already. But.
It was awesome. I mean, we kind of had all these questions that we were queuing up, but we got the full narrative in a very organic way. So we love it. I mean, I think everybody that's watching and tuning into this episode is going to come out feeling a lot more chummy with the Austin.
Cloud 9.
Yeah.
Yep. They got a peek behind the curtain, the man behind the puck.
The Wizard of Oz.
That's it. And now is the time when we're going to really take a turn. Brad's got a game designed to humiliate us both, right, Brad?
Yeah. So I've been playing one. I love watching ranking videos. It's like my obsession for like fluff, like
in the tier things.
Yeah, this one's not
10
tier, but if you give me a tier list, it could be anything. And if YouTube pops that up, I'm like potentially going down that rabbit hole for way too long, just watching some asshole rank like death metal band logos, and I will be totally enthralled. So this is kind of like that, but we are going to be blind ranking current NHL centers. I have a list of 10 here. You are not going to know who is coming up, and I can throw them out in any order.
Okay. And my role is to give them the number 1 through 10.
You and Trent are going to rank them.
Okay.
And I'm going to put them in here. So I'm going to be calling out random names. Well, not random. I already wrote down my list. So I'm not going to be fooling you guys to like make you look like dummies here, but I
Okay.
have 10 NHL centers written down, and then you're going to put them in order, kind of not knowing who's coming next. And we'll start with a big one. We'll start with hopefully the Utah Hockey Club's new rival team with Nathan MacKinnon.
Oh,
I feel like you're going to say McDavid at one point, so I'm going to save him for one and put MacKinnon 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think two.
No,
Yeah,
2?
I'd lean 2 more than 3. I'd say
Mhm.
1 even, but yeah, I don't know if McDavid comes or even Matthews, there might be some argument there, but yeah, I don't think you can go lower than 2 unless he's just literally reading off the All-Star team. I don't know, like the heart voting.
No, I got some cuts in here, so all right, I like it. Let's go for a future Hall of Famer here, and Anze Kopitar.
Oh, Anze Kopitar. Oh man, I don't even really know how he performed last year.
I don't know when I know you're going to trick us at some point. We're going to be pigeonholed into certain spots. If McKinnon's 2, Kopitar maybe in the current NHL, maybe 5 or 6. What do you think, Trent?
I was thinking 6.
Okay, let's put him at 6.
I was going to say. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Let's do a young gun next.
All right.
Jack Hughes.
Now,
we're ranking them like in terms of like best, right? Or not statistically or best.
Just kind of like
who you'd build a team around, I guess.
Yeah, but I think it's okay to kind of put some of the legacy and the expectation too. It's kind of, I mean, you guys can kind of get the feel for it here, but
yeah,
we got a often injured point per game center who took a couple years to get going, but
I'm just right between the two at 4, but I just think that how many better are we going to pick? You know what I mean?
Like, no way to know. Like, I'm with you. Let's do 4.
All right.
Oh, this is such a mystery.
Let's go for Austin's favorite, Auston Matthews.
Oh, that reminds me. That reminds me, Austin. I was going to ask you another question, which is
another hard.
Why do you have so much hate in your heart, man? Why do you gotta attack our boy?
Like Starbucks or like wherever where they ask you what your name is and they spell it wrong. I know like it's hard to screw up Trent, so you probably don't have that feeling, but it's like that it puts a lot of hate in your heart, and he doesn't help having his name misspelled and being like cool and like more successful than me. People are gonna think that's the way it's spelled. It's not.
So listen, my head agrees with you 100%. Yeah, true. My head agrees with you 100%. Logically, it's an indefensible name spelling. I understand that. But in my heart, he's a part of our tribe, man. You know, Arizona hockey. That's it. It's Austin, and I'm okay with the O. All right, you know, I just got to stick up for our guy here. We cannot accept this kind of bullying and attack on a poor defenseless millionaire superstar. Okay,
I'm in my own space right now. I'm in my own space. I refuse to be swayed. I mean, the big question is like, is McDavid on this list? And if he is, we're gonna look dumb. I don't know. What do you think, Trent? It's either 1 or 3.
I think 1. One.
All right, put him at 1.
You're going to take that risk.
Hey, listen. I feel like we need to gamble. I don't know I'm going to be a little mad at you, honestly, if you chose Matthews, McKinnon, and McDavid all for this list.
Yeah, think
wait a second. Wait. Let me ask you a functional question here, real quick, that I should have got out of the way first. Is this your list of top 10 centers?
No, I just grabbed 10 names.
Okay, that makes sense because Kopitar probably wouldn't crack that list. So since Kopitar is on here, then yeah, I think number 1. Unless Austin, do you feel strongly that McDavid
I'm still thinking about your viewpoint on the name, but yeah, let's just do it.
I joked with Brad before that we were going to bully you and call you Austin.
We're going to try
my
to
sister calls me Austina.
Who does?
My sister. She calls me Austina. She calls me Tina for short. If you ever see me out and about talking to my sister, she refers to me as Tina.
Man,
anyway, that's another peek behind the curtain.
Now, but is that a retaliatory nickname? Like, do you have a mean one for her too?
No.
Oh, she's just a bully.
No, she's 3 years younger than me. She bosses me around.
Next up, and I switched this one out because of the name drop that happened earlier in the episode, but Jack Eichel.
I think 5 feels right for him.
Yeah, I think he's better than he's better than Hughes, right? But yeah, we got to leave room in case there's like one other superstar.
I feel like we got to save 3 for somebody.
Yeah, good point.
Whoa.
There's people watching you, so you can't type. That's the rule.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Elias Pettersson.
Did he stay with the Canucks?
Yeah. He's still on the Canucks.
That was kind of the hot rumor that he might be elsewhere. You
guys have a lot.
Yeah, we're very top
spots
right now. Let's work our way down. I say 8.
All right, I was leaning 7, but I think 8 is a good hedge. Yeah.
Braden Point. Speaking of a Cooley comparable,
man, after Pettersson's playoffs, like I think I might like Point a little more. You know what I mean? Like Point's a winner.
I was thinking 7.
Yeah, I'm with that. That might be a hot take. I might just get
I think we're gonna get absolutely screwed here at the end, but we'll see.
Sidney Crosby.
Oh dear God.
3. Gotta be 3.
Gotta be 3. Yeah, and
you can't put him 9. Like I don't care who comes next. It's gonna be McDavid.
We're gonna look silly at the end here. These last are gonna screw us.
Tim Stützle. Ottawa Sens.
10.
Yeah. And 9 is gonna be Paul Kariya. No, it's gonna be
which leaves your number 9 spot.
Boys. You knew what you were doing. We saw the writing on the wall. Yeah, predictable. Well, Austin and Trent are so dumb. Can you believe what came up with? These guys don't even know what they're talking about.
I think this is a worse look for you, Brad. Yeah. I was expecting like
you guys just need to work on your ranking strategies. You need to watch more ranking videos. That's all it boils down.
What would the strategy even be? Just I don't know.
You gotta save that.
This is unfair. You're the one who's addicted to ranking videos. We're not.
I know.
So this was an uneven playing.
You make a game.
Yeah, you wanted us to be the fools.
You know what we should have done a contest on is excuse making. I would have dominated that. You know?
Yeah.
Well, that was fun,
man.
I had fun too.
Anything you want to flip the script and grill us on, or do we want to save that for something in the future?
Why blow it all now? We'll be in touch throughout the ordeal. We're here. I'm here for the long haul. I think that's what I would say is like it's been fun like getting started on this SLC Puck, and like it is like exciting in a lot of ways. But like I'm trying to keep my energy level up, and like keep in mind that this isn't just like a silly summer project. You know, like these guys are going to be here for the indefinite future. So stay tuned. We'll see what's next.
We'll definitely be staying tuned for sure, man. I really appreciate the work that you're doing out there. The podcast is awesome. I love the set design, the vibe, the whole thing.
Thank you.
Big fan, so appreciate it.
Thank you. You guys are great. Thanks for having me on. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, this was a blast. So yeah, definitely make sure you're following SLC Puck on YouTube, Twitter, Spotify. You're on all the.
I try to make it easy.
Yeah,
all the things. Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for tuning in, everybody. This was the Clean Hits Podcast. Got a great interview, and I think you're going to be seeing a lot more Austin kind of collabing, if you will, with our team here, and
for
can't
sure
wait for that puck line for Utah Hockey Club to cash out on October 8th.
Heck yeah.
And you'll be taking all of us out to Crown Burger. That's the Salt Lake burger joint of record.
Awesome. Yeah. I am hoping to make it out to a couple games a year, so we will have to do some in life collab content when we get our crew out there. So
yeah.
All right, everybody, have a good one. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll catch you next time.
We know we running it now. Watch the game change.